And hello, everyone. Welcome back to OpenShift Coffee Break, EMEA edition. And I'm Andrea Ubiale. Today we have Natale and Harriet. They're going to tell us a little bit more about what happened at KubeCon, for example. Natale, how are you today?
All good, mate. How are you? How are you, mate? All good? I hope you had
Not
your
bad.
coffee shot. We come back to the OpenShift TV coffee break with this session. Great, Orit. About a recap of what happened at KubeCon. So we need some coffee, right, to start the journey in the right mood because lots of stuff happened. So we were thinking, okay, let's do a show where we just go through the PR announcement of what happened on KubeCon North America Detroit. Disclaimer, warning: nobody of us, any one of us, were present at KubeCon North America Detroit. But if anyone in the chat were there or assisted virtually, please join the discussion, ask questions, and tell us what do you think about. We have some news, some blog posts to share. But if anyone was really there, please join the discussion.
I have it. How are you?
Well, thank you. Very excited to come and chat about KubeCon things, even though, as Natalie said, we weren't actually there.
Well, I hope we can be at least at KubeCon Europe, which will be in Amsterdam in April, right?
Yes. Yep. Much closer to me. I'm over in Scotland. So Amsterdam's just a quick little hop rather than going all the way over to the States.
Yeah. Andrea, will you join?
I would love to join. Let's see, because I'm taking on a number of projects, and who knows how busy I will be. But I'm pretty sure that you guys will do a great job and come back here and tell us all about it.
Oh, there's Fabio in the chat. Morning, Fabio.
Hi, Fabio.
And anyone in the chat, please feel free to any question. What we were planning today is a quick round of a wrap-up discussion. Heard it. One thing cool of KubeCon is that there are the co-located events, right? So there's one particular one that you might be interested in. Do you want to talk us about a little more about what is the GitOpsCon and why is on? What do you think it's next to KubeCon?
Yeah, totally. I'm very biased. I'm the PM for OpenShift GitOps, so very keen on GitOpsCon. So GitOpsCon happens just over one day, co-located with KubeCon, and all about different types of GitOps workflows, different GitOps projects that are out there. The main ones being Argo and Flux. And there were so many cool talks this year. It was really awesome. Lots of stuff about bringing in different elements into GitOps, like policies as code. I think there were at least 3 different talks about that, which was really awesome. Oh, yes, there we go. That's the link to what happened at GitOpsCon North America. Thanks for popping that in.
And specifically, what is the audience, by the way, of this type of like GitOpsCon? Who is there, and how many other companies or groups are represented? And aside from that, of course.
Yes, obviously we were there, and not me personally, but Red Hat had a presence there, and I think GitOps is getting bigger and bigger every year. There were a bunch of talks by companies that I wasn't familiar with before GitOpsCon. I know Weaveworks had a big presence there. They were the kind of originators of the word GitOps, and they always have some really great talks. I know they had a really good one this year on sustainability in GitOps, about like making your workloads more eco-friendly. Just as a side note, I know that there's been a bit of an effort in the community to put together a GitOps sustainability meetup kind of working group to talk more about how we can make a more positive impact on the environment rather than a negative impact with our computing workloads. But I digress. Who is there? Who attends? I think the people most interested in GitOps is usually folks who tend to work on the more administrative side. Folks who are like managing their clusters. They want to make sure that people aren't going and changing them manually and making weird changes. They want to do things automatically. They want to be automating their workflows. They want to be providing automated deployments for their teams. They want to like set stuff up for their development teams. But I know like individual developers are interested in GitOps as well. People who manage more of the end-to-end workflow themselves, and want to make sure that their like deployment configurations are kept separate from all of the rest of their code. And yeah, it's a kind of big, exciting area. GitOps is great.
So is there going to be an EMEA version as well? Like you said, they tend to have KubeCon alongside with a number of different other events. So is there going to be one in Amsterdam in April?
I imagine so. There was one in Valencia last year. Well, that was earlier this year, wasn't it? The EMEA one earlier this year had a GitOpsCon as well. So I'll be looking forward to the GitOpsCon Europe in Amsterdam. That'll be great.
And somebody just gave us the hint that yes, there's going to be one.
Yeah, that's super cool because, as you said, it's any KubeCon has its own GitOpsCon. I remember it started also virtually, but now it's only in person, if I recall correctly, right? Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, when it was also virtual, there were maybe more people can attend worldwide, but this. The real sense of those co-located events is that, okay, you go to KubeCon and you can also join in person those events vertical to a specific topic or technology. There's also a service mesh con, a SIG-Store con. There's anything you can think about cloud native. I think there's a con, and there was also OpenShift Commons, right? As a co-located event.
Yeah, totally. There was also like an AI day. There was Cloud Native Security Con. I really enjoyed seeing the rise in the amount of security-focused talks this year. I thought that was really cool.
Andrea, OpenShift Commons is another very cool event, which is for the people not aware of OpenShift Commons. Is the community of OpenShift gathering and meeting on typically on event close to KubeCon, but not only. There was the Commons gathering in London. Arit, I don't know if you were also there attending.
I wasn't there, no, okay. Disappointingly.
Okay, but
I missed it too.
We had one in Milano back in 2019. So it goes through all the city, and when there's KubeCon, of course, they place a co-located event.
So let's start talking about some of the announcements that came out of KubeCon. I'm talking about Red Hat announcements. Which one, Natalia, which one do you think is probably the one that's going to make more impact? I have my views, but wanted to hear yours.
Yeah, Andrea, I think one of the biggest announcements Red Hat did is announcing the Red Hat Device Edge, this new product targeting. Can I say you are the expert on Edge, Andrea? Can I say targeting the far edge?
Right. So we're talking about, let's say, a number of technologies that contribute together to to this product. You remember that we still, for, let's say, the far edge, when we talk about far edge, we can talk about edge devices that still need to run OS instead of run some intelligence. But in most cases, they're connected directly to sensors, and in some cases, maybe to actuators as well. And they tend to be in hardware with a small form factor, and with additional hardware that interfaces with other equipment. And in those cases, and very likely on different microprocessor architectures. So in those cases, if you remember, we would address that with our RHEL for Edge. And if you think about it, there are obviously a number of capabilities that you need in that case, and we can talk about the way you update the software components, which is the operating system, anything that's running on it. The way you do the first installation, the creation of the images and all that. And if you remember, we tended to use RHEL for Edge, and if you want to containerize something on it, running in containers, that would have been the perfect fit for Podman. But there are other cases where you may want to have a way of running, executing, and distributing the containers and orchestrating them the same way to the far edge and all the other, let's say, edge tiers that you want to have. So OpenShift already comes in different form factors. It comes, as you know, as a 3-node configuration. It's a 1-node, single-node configuration. And now trying to push to the edge and sort of have a merge between some of the capabilities of OpenShift and RHEL for Edge. And now we have Edge device, where the capabilities, let's say, the stripped down small form factor capabilities or small footprint of OpenShift are actually provided by a project that we talked about in the past, Microshift. So we can get into details, but essentially Microshift is OpenShift, but it's just one single executable that comes actually from the same code base as OKD. And at that point, you can run your containers not just on Podman, but directly on a very small footprint version of OpenShift. It's not any. It's if you wish, you could. It only has the capabilities that OpenShift would need in this single node device. But who knows if in the future that may even be clustered? Who knows? I don't think we have yet a requirement for that. But there may be some HA capabilities that are needed in the future. So that's more or less the announcement. We can get into the details. But I think actually we should have maybe our PM for Edge device come and talk to us about it.
Yeah, we can invite him or her in the next episode as soon as
we could do that and get into the various capabilities. And but it's obvious you think about it. It's like if you have a usual Venn diagram. On the one hand, you have the capabilities of OpenShift, and on the other, you have the use cases for RHEL for Edge. There's an intersection there, and that's where Microshift and that's where Edge device sits.
We had a question from Fabio in the chat. What are the main differences between single node OpenShift and device Edge? Is it just the size?
No. So first of all, there is a.
You have a book? You were opening the book?
Well, I have my own notes, if you don't mind. So think of Microshift as the equivalent of K3S. With the difference, it's actually running etcd. So it runs a subset of the components of OpenShift, but they all are exactly from the same code base with the same behavior. So you will not have all the build capabilities that OpenShift provides because you do the build somewhere else. It's only what you need to run and orchestrate the containers, update them, monitor them. Okay, so it's just a stripped down version that is actually distributed in a different way because it's distributed via RPM-OS tree. And the beauty of that is that you can actually build even the OS image that contains call them the bootstrap images, the number of images that you already want to have when you produce that Edge device. So it's ready to go. And then
cool.
you can have over-the-air updates, and the over-the-air updates will take care of updating the image on the. I'm talking about the image of the operating system. You have other goodness in that, because you can basically do these updates in an incremental way, because these devices are not fully connected. They can be intermittently connected, sometimes disconnected from the network. Whereas the typical use case for a single node or a 3-node OpenShift is that it's running a data center after all.
I have a question, Harriet, about this. So if we have read that device edge, imagine we have 1,000 or million of devices connected, right? How do you see OpenShift GitOps supporting such capabilities? Like, it's a difficult question because we have different architectural patterns. You can have a mega big giant OpenShift GitOps cluster controlling everything, or you can have multiple OpenShift GitOps, right? How do you see in the future a possible, architecture?
Ooh. I feel like there's so many different options because there's so many different ways to use GitOps. I really like the so one of the other.
Thanks, Andrea, for making noise.
Right next to the microphone.
We understood you have notes, but
one of the other announcements that happened at KubeCon was about Lockheed Martin using Device Edge to do cool stuff with AI. I really like the kind of AI ML ops and how that interacts with GitOps, and using your GitOps workflows to deliver your models and building that pipeline all the way through to the edge, keeping everything as code, having the ability to just like roll back or recover from a disaster recovery scenario, just like all automated, all nice like that. I think that's probably what I'm most excited about with kind of pushing it out to the edge, is seeing that automation come from your single source of truth in Git.
Right. I think that this approach is extended, is ubiquitous. It's not only for the data center or cloud, or even at the edge. The same approach valid for many infrastructure, or how you want to call clouds, edge infrastructure.
Yeah.
that layer, that fundamental layer, it looks like holistic in this way.
Totally.
Cool. The Red Hat Device Edge, we shared the link in the chat because it contains also a good recap of what Andrea said, right? Kubernetes built for edge deployment, edge optimized Linux OS. So, Andrea, is that
the other thing that we forgot about? Typically, down to the single node OpenShift, that runs on CoreOS, whereas and the distribution and installation of OpenShift is done in the standard OpenShift way, whereas with RHEL for Edge and Edge device, which is basically the merge of Microsoft project and this OpenShift is actually installed as an RPM via RPM OS3 and maintained that way. So underneath you have RHEL for Edge, not CoreOS. That's one of the other main differences, which also gives you so you have full control of that OS and what you install on it, because you need to be able to install special device drivers, hardware dependent software that may come from an ISV. Whereas you couldn't do well, you could do that, but that's not as open in the case of CoreOS. CoreOS only comes with OpenShift, if you remember.
Right. There's Walid in the chat. I think Walid, you are Walid, the organizer of KCD Mana. If you are the guy, hi, thanks. He organized the Kubernetes Community Day MENA in Dubai. Maybe Walid, we can invite you to give us. Oh, you are the guy. So thank you for organizing the KCD. We would like to invite you to share insight about this event close to GITEX, which is a really big event in the area. So great to have you here. And if you have any feedback, please share in the chat about KubeCon announcement and any co-located event you think are interesting. Yeah, so as you can see, there's KubeCon, there are the co-located event, and then there are also those community events, the Kubernetes Community Day. For your info, there's one in Milano in November that happening virtually because we had some issue, but we're gonna do it in person in next year. But as you can see, any city has its own Kubernetes Community Day. It's like having a small KubeCon, really small KubeCon, right? Community talk, community driven, but it's the same concept. So really cool. Yeah, this is a parenthesis but Red Hat Device Edge. It's super cool. I like what you say, Andrea, about the OS, the differentiation between RHEL Core OS, RHEL 9 footprint. They are the same at the end, right? But it changed only the way they manage the file system. They manage, the processes. RHEL Core OS looks like really optimized just for container workloads, and it's immutable operating system, right?
Well, also you have to bear in mind that one of the main requirements of this type of devices is that they're out there in the field, okay, and they're not very accessible, or not accessible at all. So let's say you push an update, and that doesn't work. The device at that point is offline, and you won't be able to recover it. So you need to have a way to roll back whatever updates you did to the last known workable state of the device. And that's something that's already part of the bundle, if you wish, with Edge device, because there is an intelligent rollback mechanism that you can customize. It's called Green Boot, that will go and check, do all the checks, would identify whether the device can boot and run whatever you want it to run the right way. If not, it can roll back at all levels.
Oh, if you think about, again, the 1,000 device connected, if you can roll back some, some mistake, it's super cool.
Absolutely. So that is a must if you think about it, and then you can obviously have access as soon as it's connected again. Have access to what was wrong and why.
Right. Well, this is super cool. I think this was the major announcement from Red Hat together with the partnership with Martin, right? Always on Red Hat Device Edge. We had another very good announcement, which is Red Hat, the one telling that Red Hat is joining the Backstage community. I'm really excited about it, Andrea heard it, because Backstage, it's a popular open source software made originally by Spotify for creating project inside, in your company, you have to scaffold a new project with a Git repository, with some, permission or connected to some cluster somewhere. So Backstage is this software. And we announced that we're joining the Backstage IO community. So it's going to be part of a Red Hat offering. And the idea is that nicely connecting the Backstage UX to OpenShift. So you want to start a new project, you just create this project using Backstage, and then it's connected to OpenShift. This will be really nicely connected. So I'm excited about it because the Backstage is being very popular. And if you think about when you have to create a new project on Kubernetes, it's not that trivial, right? You have to manage user permission. Okay, heard it. You can say it could be infrastructure as a code, the policy as a code, security as a code, whatever as a code, right? Everything as a code.
Yeah, totally.
But how do you scaffold everything? You write the YAML from the beginning, or you can use something like that. I think it's an helpful tool. I don't know if you heard about it before. If you ever heard about Backstage, what's your thoughts? With my 30-second pitch, you both. What's your thought
I admit my ignorance.
after the 30-second pitch?
I hadn't. I'm sold. But so you think that this may be part of the developer view on OpenShift in the future?
We don't have the roadmap again shared, but it looks like yes, it's gonna be part of the developer experience. Definitely, the developer experience in OpenShift. So the web console will be nicely connected,
Integrated.
like for OpenShift GitOps,
Cool.
right? If you see Argo CD, it's on the application pad, top right. You click it and you join. It's another software, Argo CD. Well,
Right.
it's OpenShift GitOps, which contains Argo CD in a certain version, right? But it's nicely connected to the OpenShift authentication, the OpenShift web console. I think we're gonna do something around that.
So minimally will have the SSO, and so you can explore
Yeah,
the
that'd be cool.
goodness.
Yeah. So very cool announcement for developer experience and
Play with it now.
edge. Oh, Walid's saying many golden platforms use it for their user portal. I'm wondering if the UI of OCP would be more extensible. It's there since 2016. Yes, it's true, Walid. It's a project started from long time. But now Red Hat decided it's time to to make it part of the family, or at least to contribute actively to it. And I think it's really good idea.
So I see another question from Walid. He's wondering or wishing if that the UI of OCP could be more extensible. There are ways of extending it, and I think there's a toolkit. I don't actually know the details, but there is a way.
Oh yes,
Right?
and to be honest, we did a workshop around this, so I can share with you this workshop made by my colleague Ryan, Josh, Evan, everyone in the team. Cedric collaborated. It's basically a tutorial that drive you on how to extend the web console. Because the OpenShift Web Console can be extended. There's some API or custom resource that allow you to define how to extend the console. So let me look for the link, and I can share with you this.
And there too many inputs and too much information sometimes, so I don't remember. There's this particular UX framework that is being used for that, but I don't remember the name.
Patternfly.
Exactly. See?
Yeah.
That's what happens when you're younger.
Yeah, Patternfly is a popular UX pattern for creating web applications.
I'll type it in.
It's
based on React, right?
Based on I don't know to be honest. So I found the workshop, coming back to many things. I find the workshop. Walid, if you are interested in how to customize OpenShift Web Console, we did this workshop at Summit North America, Summit Connect North America in September. This is a way on how you can customize the console, extend it. This is one thing. The UI thing, Andrea, is Patternfly. Walid share. You share in the chat the link. This is the part. All Red Hat products are using Patternfly. All Red Hat. If you look at OpenShift Web Console or Cockpit in RHEL or any other like the hybrid cloud console, you go to consoleredhat.com. It's still Patternfly. It's a consistent user experience. I
think Walid is happy. You gave him the information.
Yeah, definitely. We did it for recently, so it's cool. Let us know what do you think about. So if you go through it, it's really cool, showing how to customize the console, the UI. For instance, OpenShift GitOps, right, has one icon to the application pad. This is something you can customize. You can change the logo or change the URL for your items, right? You can also add your apps there.
Very cool.
Super cool. So thanks for the question, Walid. If you, I wanted to ask to the audience attending, any one of us using Backstage already, or what do you think about Backstage? Because as Walid said, 2016, it's a mature open source project probably, but now we hope we give some boost with this adoption from Red Hat. So just wondering if anyone in the chat want to share any story around Backstage, their integration with Kubernetes.
I wonder if the popularity of Backstage has led to this like sharp increase in everyone using the platform engineering buzzword and
yes, I think
popularity.
You catch a really good point. Now that there's Wally, to your question, why now and not 2016? Now there is the platform engineering momentum, Backstage is coming back strong. Harriet, I know you worked with platform engineer. Can you explain to us what the heck is a platform engineer, please? Because in KubeCon North America, Detroit, there was lots of platform engineer. So any insight?
Yeah, so my pre-Red Hat time, I was the PM on a platform team. So we had an internal team that managed our the services for the other teams. So not just like things that the other teams would use internally, but also kind of cross-cutting concerns that they would use externally as well. So like we managed our SSO offering across the multiple products that we offered, so that each individual team didn't have to do it. Yeah, that post that you popped in from Gartner, that was a really good one. If you're unfamiliar with platform engineering, covers like the high level of like, what even is this thing? Why would we want to do it? But I think it's a nice way of kind of consolidating a bunch of like, it would be rework. You'd be like copying and pasting stuff across teams and consolidating that into one team to manage it all in one place, and using something like Backstage to help you do that makes it like really schmick and easy to use.
Yeah, that was interesting because I've seen lots of tweets from KubeCon saying DevOps is dead, long live so platform engineer. So do you think DevOps is dead and now his name is refactoring to platform engineer?
No, DevOps, the name will never die. I mean, if you ask me, it'll be like DevOps is dead and GitOps is the new way.
Yes, of course.
But I don't know. I think platform engineering, maybe it's just a more relatable term for folks. Maybe it describes things a bit better. And I'm always a fan of like longer naming for things that's a bit more descriptive than DevOps. It's a bit kind of short if you're not familiar with what it is. It can be a little bit more opaque. But I come from a bit of a linguistics background, so I'm into word usage.
So what do you suggest, to stay concise or in terms of popularity of the new concept, platform engineer should shorten a little bit, like plat eng?
Oh no, I hope not. I don't know. I think it's important to make sure that folks who are new to the concepts can understand it. So the more we shorten things and make jargon, the less understandable it is for people new to the industry, or even existing industry people who are learning new things. Just kind of, the more jargon we have, the harder it is for everyone. So all about the like more descriptive naming.
And speaking about buzzwords, we just talked about DevOps, but the other buzzword is DevSecOps, and there was actually an announcement at KubeCon about advanced cluster security for Kubernetes that is now also going to be delivered as a cloud service. I think initially on AWS. So people won't have to, normally now you would install it on your own, your own OpenShift cluster, and that's a requirement to manage, however, Kubernetes clusters, not necessarily OpenShift, from a security perspective, to security scans and managed disabled to the whole DevSecOps. Now that's going to be a service on AWS, and so any, let's say, Kubernetes user of various flavors, we won't mention them, they can use ACS as a native service on AWS. If that's my understanding, then it may not be a native service, but it's definitely on the marketplace.
Yeah, I thought it was a super exciting announcement. I think ACS is awesome. If folks aren't familiar with ACS, it used to be called StackRox, and I believe we relaunched the community portion of that as StackRox still. And yeah, you can do so many good security things. It'll tell you all about what's gone wrong in your images, if you've got anything that you need to address. And I'm really glad to see us offering that as a managed service for folks who don't want to run it themselves.
Yeah, and if we look at the story of it, right, this was an acquisition from StackRox. StackRox already had their SaaS. So Red Hat bought StackRox, open sourced StackRox, and now it's advanced class security for Kubernetes, and then offered the on-prem, and now back to cloud, right? Back to SaaS. But there was the open sourceization in the middle. So I don't know how many companies open source their acquisition, but I think this is a really very cool stuff. Of course, I'm opinionated, but show me another company doing this.
Yeah, and it is not an easy process in some cases. So that's why there is a little bit of a gap in terms of time between an acquisition and when we actually manage to open source it. And but it is part of how we build software. So we have to have an upstream community, and this is how we manage our software delivery. So
Right.
So that's that. I think that's interesting. But also the fact that it kind of lowers the entry point for those that want to use advanced cluster security, because you don't have to worry about managing an OpenShift cluster on which it runs, and especially if they are already, for example, AWS users. So that I think is also a very cool thing.
So it's in the marketplace.
Don't quote me on that. First of all, I think it's launching in 2023, and now it's only EAP, early adopter program. So I'm not sure whether it's going to be a marketplace, whether it's going to be native. So I'm not sure.
But this is cool, and I was wondering, since we have this security as a service SaaS, Harriet, can you share if we will have any GitOps SaaS? Can we share any insight?
Maybe one day, yeah.
Right.
I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but yes, we are exploring it as an option. Obviously, we've got a lot of interest in GitOps, and some folks just don't want to do that all themselves. But it's such a useful workflow that we want to make it available to people, even if they don't want to have to manage everything. And so yeah, we're looking at ways that we can provide automation in deployment from configuration to folks as a service. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled.
Okay.
There may be something.
Maybe something can happen. Really, really cool. We're going more in these cloud services where we can connect everything like Red Hat Device Edge, security, SaaS, anything SaaS also in the GitOps side. Super cool. I was looking also at the chat. There's my friend Didier saying DevOps is a culture and practice. Yes, definitely. We cannot refactor a culture, right? Even if how do you see the transition, or how do you see the coexistence from DevOps and GitOps? Is GitOps an extension, or how do you think they also form a culture approach?
Yeah, it's more of a evolution.
Evolution.
I think they happily coexist. It's not like GitOps should replace DevOps or anything like that. It's more kind of adding on to it, where we're looking more at, so there's like the 4 GitOps principles, and about the one that I always think is the main one is having the controller that watches and continuously reconciles. And so it's just like another thing to add on to DevOps. It's a nice evolution of the concept.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you, and it's super exciting to see the evolution, right? We have DevOps, GitOps, and then platform engineering. So for people wondering if to change their job title from DevOps engineer to platform engineer, wait a bit, because it's slightly a little bit different, but it's still valid. DevOps super valid because, as TDR said, it's a culture and practice. Yeah. So I just wanted to go through also the session that Red Hat had at KubeCon North America, Detroit. First of all, I want to say that everyone will say, "Oh, Detroit, blah blah blah." I see some picture from Detroit, looks wonderful. I don't know, all the people posting some nice picture from Detroit. So first, I have to admit, Detroit looks a really nice city, and then I wanted to share with you the list of the session that Red Hat had. You can see we had a keynote brought from our colleague Erin Boyd. So CI/CD isn't reserved for software. So again, to Didier point, right? It's a process more than a technology. And Andrea, maybe I can, or you or me, we can share the screen on this.
Let me see. Sorry about that.
Let me share the screen. So because I have the tab on this, right? You can see it.
Yeah, we can. Yes.
Yeah, if you are curious, so what Red Hat did at KubeCon North America 2022 in person in Detroit, we had a keynote session from our colleague Erin. CI/CD isn't reserved for software. Then, as we say, co-located events, lots of cool stuff. GitOpsCon, we had 2 additional talks. If you are curious, if you go to the GitOpsCon schedule, look for Red Hat. There was our colleague Christian Hernandez, also a PM for the GitOps service, which is also in the Open GitOps working group. He did the intro session, and then there was a keynote from our colleague Eric Jacobs, the future of GitOps. And there was another talk by Christian, how to secure, oh, this is cool, multi-cluster Istio. Wow, heard it, multi-cluster Istio. So sorry for the cascade. What do you think about multi-cluster Istio?
Oh, so cool. I believe that talk in particular had a really interesting demo, not just using Istio, but also using Argo rollouts. So that's the latest and greatest in Argo CD progressive delivery, enabling you to do things like canary deploys or blue-green deploys, doing like A/B testing, that kind of stuff. And hooking that in with Istio, you get like a really nice, what's the word I'm looking for? Like visualization of your deployments and how it all goes. So that one's a great one to like tease the future of where we're going with OpenShift GitOps, because we are looking to do a tech preview of Argo rollouts as part of OpenShift GitOps.
Oh,
So
that's great news.
So I do have a question. I'm wondering. So this is multi-cluster Istio as opposed to multi-cluster service mesh, because OpenShift service mesh can do multi-cluster already. So that's the sort of functionality that's now being pushed into the Istio project.
So I believe we would have been talking about service mesh, but KubeCon likes us to be more generic.
That's why. So I thought, as always, as it happens, because it has happened in the past, we come up with some new solutions, and then we tend to push them down the stack towards the. So it's like open sourcing it, but adding new capability. It has happened to Kubernetes several times. So So that's what I was wondering. So it's still our service mesh.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We just do everything upstream first. So,
but still, it's not Istio at that point.
Well, Istio, this particular talk was our friend from Solo.io. They do a service mesh solution,
Right.
but our solution is based on the same upstream bits, which is Istio. So OpenShift service mesh and this the one showcased here are basically the same. The software Istio supporting federated mesh, so multi-cluster, even cluster and not cluster, like cluster and virtual machine. So those are architectures that are supported, and it's very cool to add the GitOps the GitOps speed to this also service. You may think about, oh, they're conflicting, like you're gonna try to control something from the GitOps side, and then service mesh is gonna control something from the upper layer, but they work together nicely, and you can have really good multi-cluster again, to the Red Hat device edge. Imagine thousands of devices. You want to deploy your app. It's OpenShift GitOps, and it also can be OpenShift serverless. I don't know if it is not supported yet, this topology, but I think it's could be a really good blueprint.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. You imagine having like all your thousands of edge devices and doing like progressive deployments just to like some of them to like test how it goes, and then being able to get reports back on how it went, and then progressively deploy it out to other things or roll them back as you need to. It'd be so cool.
Super
My
cool.
dog has come to say hello.
We gave the stage a little bit more on GitOps just because Harriet is here with us. Thank you for joining us. Harriet, it's always a pleasure. But we have also other co-located event. This is cool. I like this. This is Cloud Native Reject. If you are not accepted to CFP of KubeCon, you can apply to the Cloud Native Rejects. And the sessions are cool. Super cool because there are lots of good sessions. You can go to the website and see how it works. Cloud Native Rejects. If you see the schedule, it's always super interesting. So don't worry if you are not accepted to KubeCon. There's the Cloud Native Reject, which is even cooler. Yeah, but as we mentioned, SecurityCon, Knative Con, this is for serverless, right? Our colleague doing a talk.
That one was really cool.
Containerful serverless, also super cool, right?
Yeah. If you scroll a bit further down, there's like a big list of all of the talks.
Oh, here?
Keep going.
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Right.
We see all the talks and all the people who did it.
Oh, yes, right. So if you're curious what Red Hat did at KubeCon, beyond just sponsoring, we contributed a lot with talks and roundtable and panels, because there are, of course, contributor to the Kubernetes community. And the community at KubeCon meets and talk about, update. You can see the SIG group, SIG apps update, like something also like this. You see many companies, right? They work together in the same open source project, and then they have their product. So this is a very nice way to collaborate.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, please have a look here at the list of the talk. I think just the co-located were super cool. Imagine also the session. Some of those for KubeCon, actually, some of those are also virtual. So if people couldn't attend, they can join the session virtually or deliver the session virtually. But again, there's lots of stuff here, operators, smart green computing. Again, Kubernetes communities talk, and the OpenShift Commons gathering, which is happened in the day before KubeCon, with other talks, other people attending. If you want to have a look at what is OpenShift Commons, what where the talk is from, organized by our awesome colleague Diane. Those are this is the list, the schedule. Usually it's a OpenShift conference, so the people, users, customers share their best practices in this conference. So I really recommend you also to attend it.
Yeah, and there's often OpenShift Commons sessions all around the world, so keep an eye out for one locally to you.
Definitely. I think, I don't know if we're, Andrea, if we shared the link on OpenShift Commons. If not,
no, not yet.
We can share it. If you go to this website, you can join the community if you are an OpenShift user, or if you want to hear about from other OpenShift user, like, hey, how do you manage, how you do set up your OpenShift GitOps for hundreds of clusters, right? There might be someone that already did it and can share this with you. So this is also a cool way to create communities around OpenShift, which is also what we are trying to do here, right? For OpenShift TV coffee break. And thank you for anyone joining. Thank you in the show. We have also a Telegram channel. If you are interested to join, we can share the link in a moment. But yeah, Andrea, I think I shared anything from my screen.
So I think there was something else, and I think it was a bit on the side, but if you guys are familiar with our validated patterns, they keep coming out, and they are, let's say, the upstream version of the patterns, and then they get validated and they get published. Some were announced during KubeCon, and it goes from like secure supply chain, DevSecOps, also Ansible, Edge, GitOps, and I think I can actually share the link to that one, which is a nice one. But I actually encourage you guys to look at all the validated patterns. They're actually quite useful.
Yeah, there's so many really good ones, and they're just adding more all the time. They're absolutely brilliant. Highly recommend everyone go check them out. But it's not just Ansible Edge GitOps. There's a multi-cloud GitOps one. There's Industrial Edge.
I'll give an example there. Let me just give the there's like multi-cloud GitOps. There's whole set for Industrial Edge as well. But I'm going to give the actual site where you can find them all. Just here. So these are the ones that are actually validated by Red Hat. There's a whole more that there are from, let's say, the upstream side, and use it at your own risk, in a sense.
And if you've found a pattern that works really well for you, they love having contributions. So please get in touch if you've got something that works really well.
Yeah, thank you. And I also share in the chat our Telegram group chat. I know the link looks like a scam, but I didn't know how to customize it. Yeah, that is the right link. You can join our OpenShift community channel. We talk about OpenShift and OKT, which is the upstream version of OpenShift. So there are almost hundreds of people. Feel free to join. We share also the link of these shows and share insight about OpenShift architecture. There are people really passionate about the cloud native of OpenShift. Yeah, so
okay.
I think it was a great recap. I just wanted to mention something I've seen from another blog post from the Ambassador Labs. I've seen a nice talk, a nice tweet mentioning in the Friday keynote that the future is built on open standards. So this is a nice message. I think I can copy the link of this tweet from Daniel, which was there at the conference. It was reporting this. This link is really.
Oh goodness!
It's really big link. Okay, but it should be fine. Sorry for this.
Oops.
Sorry for this gigantic
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Long story
interesting
short,
because
long story short, if you are able to click this the super giant link, you should go through Daniel tweet showing that the future depends on the evolution of open standards. This is really important. If we don't have an open standard, we cannot start implementing anything in open source, right? Also, if you look at containers, containers are this OCI standard for creating container image, and anyone can implement its version. Docker, Podman, anyone can go and implement this version. But if the standard is not open, there's nothing really we can talk about, right?
Yeah, and in the keynote by the from Priya Sharma, who's the director of the CNCF, was also talking about the importance of community and maintainers. So as part of open standards, we need people. We need everyone working together and figuring this out as a group, because if we're not having lots of different voices, then it's going to be like too specific. So we've got to have the open standards, and we've got to have lots of contributors.
Right. And I think KubeCon is a really nice community. They organize the participation in a nice way. Also, joining this conference person is a good opportunity to meet the community, to join this community. There's the SIG groups, there are the working group. Everything is really open. But I agree, we need to work on more on how to involve those people, because maybe it's not easy at the beginning, right? Or they feel intimidated, right? Like, oh, I'm not the super mega engineer. How can I join this community? But actually, anyone can join doing anything, like documentation, software testing, or just being there and be part of this awesome community. I want to close this. I'm going to leave you the link of Daniel blog, because he was doing a recap of everything, because he was there. So thanks, Daniel, for this blog post.
And don't worry, I just checked on YouTube, and it only shows the first part of the of the link. It's not as scary.
Yeah.
One you see.
Yeah, we try to send two scam links. One is the Telegram, one is the tweet.
And it's interesting. I checked the tweet, and there's a hashtag unicorns don't lie, and the presenter was actually wearing a unicorn costume, I think.
So I just wanted to close. I think, heard it. We have the GitOpsCon video already online, if I recall correctly.
Yes, they are already available. All of the it seems like all of the co-located events videos are up, available on YouTube from the CNCF channel.
Great. Maybe, I don't know if we can share a link quickly to them, because I'm looking for this link.
Yes, I will grab it. CNCF. Here we go. I happen to have it open in one of the million tabs that I have open presently.
Thank you. So yeah, we can share all the video available.
Oh, you did it.
Okay. So if you go to YouTube, there are already the video available for GitOpsCon, and any CNCF video you will find in this channel. So yeah, I think we did a great recap, folks.
Thank you, guys. I learned something today. And,
I also learned something.
Happy.
Thank you, Herit, for joining us. And you stay with us, right, in OpenShift TV. You'll stay with us also to this afternoon.
Yes, I will be on the OpenShift Ask an OpenShift admin stream this afternoon. So if you're around, please come along.
Yeah, don't miss it, because it's another super cool event. Do you know what time is the event? Is the show?
I think it's at 3 p.m. 3 p.m. UK time.
3 p.m. UK time. Don't miss OpenShift Ask an Admin show. Herit will be there again, and I think it's
GitOps.
Talking about, guess what? GitOps, which is the coolest thing now, right? The coolest, together with Edge and Cloud, blah blah blah.
So thank you everyone for joining us today. I guess at the top of the hour, and hopefully see you guys for the next installment of OpenShift TV Coffee Break.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.